All right, welcome back to part two of finding percentages of values. In this, we're working on a word problem, going over some key skills. And so let's go over and continue the review. Hey, if these videos have been helpful for you, help me to continue bringing these videos and questions and skills review to you by providing a star or a gift. Really appreciate it. Thank you so much for your time. So when finding percentages of a number, right, and we want to consider, is it a mark down or a mark up? And in this case, we're marking down. We're taking away, related to the question, garlic cloves that have been either smashed, destroyed, lost, right? So we want to find, first of all, 20% off of 50,000. This is just an example. And I wanted to use these values in substituting down here into the formula, right? So what's 20% off of $50,000? This is just, again, just an example. This, other than a skill review, has very little to do with the actual test question. I will answer that in a two-part series because I wanted to show you how to use the formula to answer the question, and also a second method to answer the question in finding percentages off. There's always more than one way to answer a question. You use the method that suits you the best. So the first step is to show the formula. I like the is over of, equal to percent over 100. So here in the question, 20 is the percent, so I'll substitute 20. It'll always be over that value of 100. Whoa, got a little, some more shaking. Okay. And now we're trying to find the is or the of. So up in this question, we have of $50,000. So in the formula, I'm going to substitute $50,000 where you see the of right here. Once I've substituted these two values, I'll perform that cross product I spoke about in that part one video. So everything in this video will be setting up and showing examples. Now remember, we're looking for 20% off. So everything I'm doing is going to try to find what 20% of 50,000 is. And then once I find that value, I'm going to want to subtract because it's 20% off. All right, so let's just move forward. I wanted to show that to you before I get started substituting values. So step two, use the formula, substitute values, and then cross multiply to find that cross product, and solve for that missing information, right? The missing information. So here I'd like to show you this step two. I'm going to use an X for the is because there was no is in that particular example I just showed you, but there was an of $50,000, right? And there was a percentage. It was 20. So I substituted 20 for the percent, 50,000 for the of in that statement. And again, your percentage will always be over 100. I don't know what the is, right, in that question. What is 20% of $50,000? So is my unknown variable. Here we're going to perform that cross, sorry about that. Cross product, I'm going to multiply 1x times 100, 50,000 times 20, separate them both with that equal sign. So let me show that to you now. Here we go. I have, again, that invisible 1x. Don't forget, show those invisible ones. It really clarifies. Again, I'm going to multiply, cross multiply, keeping them separated by that equal sign. So again, 1x times 100 I'm showing you here. Equal sign, and then 20 times 50,000 I'm showing you here. That's a multiplication symbol on both sides of that equal sign. Now, the next step is to multiply. So I'm going to multiply these two terms. 1 times 100 is 100. Keep that x attached, 100x. Equals 20 times 50,000 is 1 million. Is 1 million. Now, 100 times what number would equal 1 million? And if you know that, then you know the value of x. I'm going to say I don't know what that is. So I'm going to solve a one-step equation to get x all by itself. I want to turn that 100, I want that 100 to turn into a 1, right? So the only way I do that is I divide, the opposite of multiply, divide 100 to both sides of that equal sign. That will turn that 100 into 1. Why? Anything over itself, 1 over 1, 10 over 10, 100 over 100 is equal to 1. That's that invisible 1x. So x will be by itself equals 1 million divided by 100 gives me a value of 10,000. Now, many students at this point, when solving a word problem, when we're talking about markups or markdowns, would just say, I'm done. My answer, I'm finished. X equals 10,000. A was 10,000, right? And so I'm done. I'm done, right? No, you're not quite done yet. You just found 20% of 50,000, right? So we need to take that value and we need to subtract it. Let's say that's the $10,000, that's 20% off. That's the discount. That 10,000 is the discount. So now we have to subtract the discount. That's money saving in your pocket from that $50,000, right? So I'd like to show you here. I'm going to move up the paper a little bit here so we can see a little bit better. So you're going to subtract that 10,000, which again represents 20% off of $50,000. 50,000 minus 10,000, that's a markdown, right? We're subtracting, that's a markdown from the original price, will give us $40,000. That's the total cost of the item, whatever it is that you are purchasing. So I'm going to pause this part 2 of the videos in trying to answer that word problem with a markdown percentage. And I'm going to continue part 3 and part 4 in answering that question I introduced you to. Hey, math is easy. Take it step by step. If I've helped you, please help me. Thank you so much.